I have just finished classes for becoming a peer support specialist. It's not as much of a counselor because the training isn't as much. It gives me a little bit more ability to help even more people. And pain and failure and heartache and regret. And welcome back to Why Are We Here, where we ask and or answer that question. So I am finally going to be able to use my failure and past in an official capacity that will make it not a waste, as I've been hoping. I have just finished classes for becoming a peer support specialist. Little joke. So, guy falls in a really deep hole. Lawyer walks by and he tells him, he gives him some legal advice, keeps going. Doctor walks by, throws him down a prescription. Peer support specialist walks by, jumps in the hole. And you're like, what are you doing? And he says, I've been in this hole before and I got out, and I'll show you how. We use our past experience with addiction and or mental health to help people get clean, stay clean, recover. I've had a lot of interaction with peer support specialists. A lot of times there'll be a peer support specialist in a rehab facility overnight when all the counselors go home, or that drives the people to a meeting. You know, it's not as much of a counselor because the training isn't as much, but peer is the ultimate word, because you're not like telling people how to do stuff, you're helping them do it. And I've been hoping for a long time to be able to use my extensive failure and extensive experience with addiction, drugs, mental health, recovery for some kind of good for a pretty good while. And I actually had a sponsor in 2005 who drove us to meetings at a rehab I was in. And ever since then, it seemed like something that I should do, wanted to do. I've been told by lots of different counselor type people that I should be a counselor. I'm pretty good at interacting with people one-on-one. I'm very an empath, very perceptive, very intuitive. Obviously my background isn't like everyone's because that's not possible, but I've been through a good amount of everything that I'd be able to help a very varying group of people. So me and my wife both took this class. It was 5 8-hour days, and there was some stuff before, and so I don't have the certification yet, but it's just a formality. I'm waiting on the paperwork to go through, and then I will be a certified peer support specialist, which I'm about to also take my MBA at WGU. I've been accepted off of my economics degree, and I'm hoping to use them both together to start a business of, I'm not sure exactly what. Me and my wife wanted to do like sober living house, extended stay, rehab type place 10 or 15 years ago. Now I'm not really sure. It's going to depend a lot on what's out there, what's needed. But regardless of however that goes, I now have an official title that makes use of all of that wasted time, is how it felt, and pain and failure and heartache and regret and all the stuff that comes along with 25 years battle with addiction. Making these videos is one of the main ways I try to give back. Getting to meetings where I am without a license is difficult. My recovery is a little different than it, has been in the past when I was able to do kind of a more classic type of work in the steps recovery. Um, I'm working the steps. I'm reading the book. I'm adding in some other things, and the meetings part is something that I've had trouble with. We're in kind of a small town. There's not a meeting every day, but we live way out in the country, and I don't have a license, and so it's just a bunch of stuff. So having this title and training and certification will will increase employment possibilities, but more importantly, it's going to give me, for any of the things I would have wanted to do, it gives me a little bit more of an edge and ability to help even more people. I already kind of had the kind of background and story that a lot of people would have been able to relate to some parts of. I spoke at a couple speaker meetings 10 or 15 years ago, and telling my story was kind of weird, because you don't just assume people want to hear it. But we had to tell our story on the last day of our classes yesterday, and it was quite interesting listening to everybody else's. Me and my wife, we've been trying to take these classes for a year or more. It's been about 3 or 4 years since her mom actually told me that she would help me get to one. It was in Asheville. It's like, an hour from here. And that was 5 days in a row. So it was, but it cost, I think the class was like $350, $400. And we were able to find, in our county, they've just started doing it for free on a limited basis. And we were able to get in that class, and it was great. Met some really cool people and learned a lot of useful, important things. It's not a substance abuse counselor license. It's not thousands of hours of clinical work and a master's degree. It's a much lower level, but we are supposed to use our experience to help people do things like find housing and find meetings and save money and get a job, like all of the stuff, the important stuff, the stuff that clinical people don't really help you with because they're trained to help with other things. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's given me a newfound feeling of belonging in the world community. I'm relatively isolated where I am because, like I said, way out in the country and no license, and I should be able to get my license back relatively soon. It's a long process, but I could have gotten it back before now. My insurance probably be pretty expensive. I got a DUI in like 2015. So I don't know how some of that's going to work out, but making strides forward. It's a very big, and there were the first weekend we went, and there was some stuff. The classes were over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and so there were a couple of things that happened, and it looked like we were going to have to basically miss the classes. But then we were able to do the first 3 days, and then 2 weeks later, this last weekend, we had 2 more days, Saturday and Sunday, and it looked like something was going to prevent us from doing those. And I basically accepted on Friday night. I accepted that that he was going to need to be that that somebody was going to have to miss the classes to help him with some things, and I just accepted that that was how it was going to be. That I wasn't going to be able to do the last couple of days, and I would have to pick it up in a couple months, maybe hope that they would be flexible or something. But we were able to work it out that that didn't have to happen, and we both went to the classes, and it was pretty awesome the way the last couple days went. And a little cookout, some hot dogs and hamburgers, and but it was good, and I am very much excited about this step, because it's a step that I didn't realize just how long I had been stalled on this step. And now to have, it's going to take about a week for the certificate to come through, and then I will be, I don't have any other certifications, I have a college degree, but this will be the first official thing. And my next step after the MBA is going to be to get my licensed substance abuse counselor license, which takes like 3,000 hours of clinical work, and is basically a master's degree. So it's going to take a while, but that's my next step. And once I have the MBA, I should, hopefully, between all of the stuff that I know how to do, should be able to start a business relatively easily. And even if it's just continuing to make videos, I actually did learn a pretty good amount of stuff. So if you are actively addicted, or newly clean, or been clean for a while, you have to have a history of addiction, mental health, and been in recovery for a year or more. And I've been in recovery about 3 years. So there are times in the past where I wanted to do it, but I haven't been clean long enough, or you have to have references. There was some stuff that I really, it feels like a pretty big accomplishment. And I would, even if somebody is not trying to actually do that work, if you can take the classes for not a lot of money or free, I really recommend it a lot, because it makes you feel like all of that stuff may have actually be for some good, which, when you spent 25 years battling addiction, mental health, it doesn't really feel like it was for anything, Even if you're finally in recovery, it's like, okay, but it still feels like I wasted 25 years. And I'm 45 years old with a college degree and still have trouble finding work. I'm working now, but I'm out of work. I had to have my shoulder replaced, and I'm on reduced pay, which is enough, barely. But the things that it increases my ability to do, and helping people that are like me, that's the main goal. That's the reason I make these videos. That's the reason I do most things. So I'm gonna drop it there for now. Not making as many videos recently. I've been doing a lot of other things, but probably about to start picking the rate back up. So I hope this video helps somebody. It's success if it helps one person. Till next time, this side or the other.